From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening as we go into Saturday night, as new indication from viewers of this channel that $1,400 third stimulus checks could be coming in a third wave next week. A series of viewers of this channel overnight indicated that they had gotten alerts from their banks that $1,400 third stimulus checks could be coming next week. And they had the actual direct deposit dates for the receipt of the funds, of all those details as well. Meantime, new video from the White House about checks, and also new video from the Vice President. She talks about the situation on child development. Dr. Walensky and Dr. Fauci talk about the issue about the new strains of the virus, especially B.1.1.7. Also, forced stimulus continues to heat up as Americans await that third stimulus check. And I have new detail from Social Security and the communications with Treasury. What are their new messages across the board? Elsewhere, a series of new surprising details as a push for reoccurring stimulus checks, yes, is introduced in a new bill. Yes, it's actually in a bill. New details from Amazon about COVID testing, a new crypto push in Miami, and new statements from the White House about whether forced stimulus will get a surprise wrinkle to it. I have all those details and more. As $1,400 third stimulus checks are out for 30 million Americans, the question is, when are they going to land? And across the land, Americans need those checks right now. But no need to worry, because I have all the great details formulating this evening. As new indication suggests, those stimulus checks are on their way. As we start a big night, let's get to the details and let's get to those checks. This is Evenings at Lalate. Beautiful Saturday evening. This is Evenings LA direct from Los Angeles. As new indication that a third wave of stimulus checks has gone out, the question is, when are you going to receive them? And new great indication from viewers suggesting, not actually suggesting, telling them, their banks, that the stimulus checks are coming next week. Wow, this was the kind of news we wanted to hear. How are you? I having a good Saturday? Hope you are. Crushing the weekend? Did you go to the Casino last night? The Casino is having a sale on $12 ice cream tonight. It's $11.99. Not very funny. No, it's not. That's Sirloin's discount rate. So hope you are doing well. Sirloin says hello. Jimmy Late and Blaine66. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single minute of videos across the board. And also like this video. And boy, do we have a lot of details. Also, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Let me tell you what the breaking details are. Friday night to Saturday morning, I started to receive a series of DMs from viewers about the $1,400 third stimulus check. What did the DM say? They said, LLA, you were right. You said to continue to watch my bank and to check the IRS tool, and things changed. It now shows, viewers indicating to me in private messages, that a stimulus check will come by direct deposit March 31st. Wow. So this is really interesting, because guess what 7 days after March 24th is? Yeah. Boy, this is huge, great news. Yesterday on Afternoons LA, I told you that it's the third stimulus check of waves of checks had gone out, but we didn't know when they were going to go out. I said that all the indications suggest the following data, that the first wave went out on a Friday and landed on a Wednesday. The second wave went out on a Friday and landed on a Wednesday. And I said, well, we know that the third wave has gone out, that 30 million missing stimulus checks for people on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, but when is it going to land? Is it going to land this coming Wednesday? Well, the new indication from viewers is, yeah, I got an alert from my bank. It's coming on March 31st. Wow, this is huge. And then came the updates on the IRS tool for some viewers as well, indicating that direct deposit is coming on March 31st. Now, I got to tell you, and I know what you're about to say. Wait a second. You've never heard this. You never said this before. I haven't. I have never, ever, in all the months of reporting on this channel, ever seen bank accounts show pending deposit for March 31st today, 4 days ahead of time. 5 days ahead of time. I even had to ask viewers, is that what you're saying to me? They said, yes, it shows pending availability for the 31st. That can only mean one thing, and you know what it means. It means the banks already have the funds. Yes, but the effective date of the funds is the 31st, so they can't release it to the 31st. This would suggest, if this is universally happening, that the third wave of stimulus checks went out Friday, as this channel was predicting, and that the effective date of the direct deposits is March 31st, and the next big drop is March 31st. Wow. Now, a lot of things can change, and we have a couple more days upon us. Let's sort of jump into that calendar. Here's the calendar right now. Let's see what the calendar says when we look at the days of the weeks. I laugh because, look, it's so obvious. The first wave dropped on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, or Wednesday. The second wave dropped on March 24th, last Wednesday. And the third wave, if it does drop on the 31st, would be exactly again on a Wednesday. And guess what happened last night and today? Just like last Friday and last Saturday last week, the changes of databases were updated. I told you yesterday. I told you all throughout yesterday, even though Friday had limited recordings, a little bit less than usual, that Saturday may be a big news day, because Saturday may be the day in which you see changes to bank accounts that go from nothing to pending status, and you may see the change from IRS tool of nothing to pending status. Now, before I continue with that, because I got a lot more to say in this recording, and this is going to be a jam-packed recording, so you got to stay with me at the end. I have details about how to track it and all that stuff coming up still in this video. But what I want you to say is, understand, is that if you're watching this video and you're watching it on an evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday, and you still do not show pending deposit for the 31st, do not think that you are excluded from the topic of discussion, because we saw that happen last wave and the first wave, where people did not get an alert ahead of time, but yet it still appeared. You do not have to get an alert to have it appear. This was a week ago today. A week ago today, someone sent me this message: direct deposit. Hi, consumer of direct deposit. Here's hi, consumer of Direct Express card. Here is an alert last Saturday that you're getting a deposit this coming Wednesday, March 24th, wave number 2. Here's an automatic message that says your stimulus check is on its way. So if you don't get this type of alert, don't fret, because guess what? Millions and millions of other Americans have gotten direct express deposits and did not get alert, or other deposits from their big banks. Those deposits just crashed right in. What's important to understand is that this whole alert situation causes some confusion. Let me explain what's going on. It's very unusual. Why is this unusual? If someone just sends you money, it just appears in the bank. It doesn't give you an alert ahead of time. It just appears. That's if the funds are $1,400, because usually the threshold is $5,000. They hold it for clearance. But when they get the funds, they already clear them over the night time. So they got a day to clear the funds over the night. In this case, if the Treasury sent out the funds yesterday, then the banks have, Friday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and 3 days to clear the funds. So they would never really send you an alert saying, hi, the funds are pending. So understand, if you do not see an alert, don't worry, the funds are coming. Now, are they coming by direct deposit, or are they coming by paper check? If they're coming by paper check, what should you know? What if that IRS tool shows no information? Will the IRS tool change itself? All those details and more are coming up on this channel in just a few minutes. But let me cut to what really unfolded this week was, of course, those series of 2 letters from Representative Neo, of which viewers and myself do not agree on the substance of the letters. We don't agree on the substance of the letters for the following reasons. One, the reason why people aren't getting the stimulus check, viewers and I don't agree with the letter. The letter is basically saying that Treasury doesn't know where you are, doesn't know who you are, doesn't have any information about you. Viewers of the channel don't buy it. We just don't buy it. What we do love is that it got the subject matter front page news. So it certainly got the matter at issue front page news that 30 million checks, at least, are missing and that they need to be sent out. Well, guess what? It's more than 30 million. We know it's more than 30 million, and we know that it's more than the scope of the people covered in that letter. But the great news is that when someone gets a subject front page, it carries, and this carried nationally. There were this series of tweets sent out by Treasury that said, well, we don't know where maybe you are because you don't file tax returns. We don't know where you are because you use the non-file filing tool, even though they told us not to use it last year. But then Commissioner Andrew Saul, said Social Security employees have literally worked overnight with IRS staff to ensure the benefits the files were delivered. This was a statement Wednesday night. So the funds were delivered. Well, there's a statement from Thursday, but it's referring to what he did Wednesday. So the funds were the information was delivered Thursday. So by Thursday, your Social Security head, here he is, Andrew Saul, had delivered the information to IRS by Thursday. So by Thursday, they could have sent out money if they wanted to. They didn't do it on Thursday. This is what we had heard earlier in the week, was a series of angry tweets, including Rep. Parcell saying, send this out right away, especially for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. But then came this incredibly great statement. Your SSA head, again, Saul, this is him right here, he sent out this message early Friday, late Thursday, which said, once we were free to move forward, we aggressively worked with Treasury and IRS to issue payments. This sentence is incredibly great news. Why? Because there's 3 verbs in the sentence, and all 3 verbs are past tense, meaning it's already happened. We were free, past tense. We worked with Treasury, past tense, and we issued payments, past tense. So we know that a third wave of stimulus checks is in the mail. The question, or in route for direct deposit. The question is, what day would you actually get those checks? I'll be covering those details in just a second, but first, the Vice President spoke yesterday about the importance of ensuring that children and families get relief during this pandemic. Let's listen in just briefly to her comments.
And instead understand. Again, if you just want to go to what our friends in the private sector, how they judge themselves, what is the return on the investment? You invest in our children, you're going to get a huge return on the investment. And so that's what we're talking about, and we hope to build on it. But a large part of our success is going to be the success that you have here on the ground. I know there are child care workers here, there are educators here, there are parents here, there are young leaders here. And the work that you are doing in terms of the implementation of this plan is going to make all the difference. And the other way that we're thinking about it is also pointing out that these things are actually possible when we have the will and the courage to focus on our children. And
that was the strong message from the White House yesterday. But meantime, there's a series of breaking developments which I have to go over with you, and they are the updates from the IRS tool that may indicate that the stimulus check is coming on the 31st. Second, the confusion that viewers got Friday as the IRS tool showed a check in the mail and they didn't get it in the mail. I'll have that detail as well. Then the IRS transcript tool trick. And meantime, why today to tomorrow may be the real big indicator of when that third stimulus wave will hit. And also, will we get that official announcement from Treasury on Monday indicating the third wave did start and it's landing on Wednesday. A lot of news still to come up on this video. So stay with me to the end. I got a lot of that and more statements from the White House and those surprising developments about reoccurring stimulus checks under a fourth stimulus package. Stay with me as LA continues right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues on evenings LA Late right after this video as we go into Hazard Pay. That's at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's a live chat when I'm in the room. And guess what? I'm in this live chat right now. So if you haven't said hello, say hi. Say hi. I'm in the live chat right here in this video as well. I'd love to say hi back to you. And if you've not said hello to new faces and new familiar faces, make friends with people in the live chat. It's an interactive community, and everyone's here to help one another. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe after you say hi. And also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. Let's try to do 2,000 to 3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. This is what you need to know as we go into a Saturday evening. $1,400 third stimulus checks for 30 million Americans were not sent out, especially those on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. Treasury and SSA fixed this situation on Thursday, delivered the information on Thursday. By Thursday, Treasury had the information they so needed, and on Thursday, the head of SSA said that we've issued payments. Now, that confirmed that a third wave of stimulus checks had gone out. The question remained was when it was going to land. The last time Treasury gave an indication of when stimulus checks were going to land was on this last Monday. They informed us the second wave of stimulus checks had gone out the prior Friday. And then after that weekend, they told us on the next Monday, they went out the prior Friday and they're landing this coming Wednesday. Well, this coming Monday would likely be the day in which Treasury gives us the official statement that a third wave of stimulus checks went out last Friday. Let's watch and see, because until we have that official statement, we really don't know when the third wave of stimulus checks will land. We do know they've gone out, so that's great news. You're going to get your stimulus check. We just don't know when they're going to actually land until they officially tell us. Now, understand where we are right now. A week ago tonight, I was telling you that a second wave, or whatever you want to call it, wave or no wave, had actually gone out. Why? Because a week ago today, I exclusively reported that viewers of this channel had got an indication from their big banks, from their Direct Express, and also from the IRS tool that stimulus checks were going to land next Wednesday, this last Wednesday. This was the March 24th alerts. They got the alerts a week ago today from Chase, Wells Fargo, Direct Express, and also from the IRS tool that deposits were landing March 24th. And they were right. They did land on March 24th. These were banks that paid on March 24th. PNC, Wells, Arvest, US Bank, Chase, Direct Express, Green Dot, Citizens Bank, Bank America, H&R Bank, Regions Bank, TD Bank. Since Friday, I've had people on Direct Express to people with credit unions and big banks get alerts that a third wave of stimulus checks will be in their specific case, that a stimulus check is going to land this coming Wednesday, March 31st. The date they're getting universally is March 31st. Now, this could change because I told you this irs.gov tool updates itself on Saturday. So this is what you need to know. One, if the tool shows no information about you, don't worry. Two, if the tool shows a date in the past and that date has passed and you've not gotten the stimulus check, that's actually good news because one, they know where you are. Two, they've identified you're entitled to a stimulus check. Three, they attempted to send out a stimulus check, but they had some particular issue at hand. Now, here's what you need to know. First, if you have a past date of a direct deposit, let's say direct deposit March 24th, and you didn't get it by direct deposit, don't worry because likely that date may get updated by Treasury, by IRS. It did it before. I had viewers who previously had a date of March 24th. It got changed to March 24th. I say that wrong. Previously had a date of March 17th. It got changed to March 24th, and they got it on March 24th. Next, if it shows a mail date and you didn't get it in the mail, here's a couple things to know. First, I have a lot of viewers, tens of thousands of viewers who have a March 26th mail date. This is what happened with that March 26th mail date. I have some viewers who got it on the 26th. I had some who got it on the 27th. So my reporting that it always lands on time was actually a little too optimistic because some viewers, it actually came late by a day with the check dated March 26th. So watch the mail. If you did not go get the mail outside today, go outside and get the mail. Just finish watching the video to the end and like the video and then go outside and get the mail. Because it may be outside in the mail today. It may also be in the mail on Monday. But here is what I expect is going to happen with this mail situation. I expect a lot of you who had that mail announcement, that date may get updated by the database at irs.gov as well. Finally, where will it land? Will it land by direct deposit or land by mail? The only advisory we have from Treasury is that a large amount of you who are expecting it by direct deposit are getting in the mail. I've seen about 50% of the viewers get alerts that it's coming by mail and not by direct deposit. But in lieu of what happened on March 24th, where very few viewers actually got the stimulus check by direct deposit on the 24th, we may see a change over the weekend. Let's stay with it and I'll see what happens tomorrow. I gotta say, I did have some viewers start to say, hey, the check came from the 26th on the 27th. Just things sort of took a little bit of time to land. Or they were seeing this, they were told that the check was going to come first, and it didn't come first. More about this in a second. And boy, I got a lot more to cover in this video. Can you imagine how much is happening today? The commissioners or the head of administration is trying to get that stimulus check out the door. But one of the big questions is forced stimulus. And let me give you a quick brief preview of forced stimulus. Over the end of last week, not covered in this channel because there was so much else going on, a new bill was introduced by this representative. And her new bill was introduced to the House. And this was her press release about the new bill. If I pronounce it right, hopefully, Tlaib and Jalapal introduced a new bill. And they did so at the end of last week when there's a lot of other stuff going on. It's called the ABC Act. And what does it provide? It provides a stimulus check of $2,000 to all Americans who are watching this channel who make less than $75,000 a year. And it starts with $2,000 for the first month, and then it's $1,000 after that. Now, here's what's really interesting about this bill. You know, and I know that I've talked so much about what the Democrats want. This is different than what the other Democrats want. If you've been watching me for a few weeks, you know that under forced stimulus, there's Democrats in both the House and the Senate who have written the president separate letters saying, we want reoccurring stimulus checks every month until the end of the year. And I said, well, that's maybe $2,000. That's probably $2,000 times 6 months or 8 months. That's $16,000. Those were moderate Democrats. Those were progressive Democrats. That was a lot of Democrats. And they basically said, we're holding up the vote until you do that. Do I think it could happen? Absolutely. Now, this bill is not that. This is something else. This is one individual introducing a bill. But what I find interesting about the statement is that she doesn't want the checks to go to the end of the year. Rather, she wants the checks to continue for 1 year after the pandemic's over. You want me to explain that one? Well, first of all, everyone's having a problem figuring out when the pandemic's over. Last year I was always saying the pandemic might be over in May of 2021. It may not be over in May 2021. It may not be over until the fall of this year. But her bill proposes to pay stimulus checks every month until a year after that, to fall of 2022. Is that dead? Is that extension ever going to occur? No. No one is going to pay checks for a future event a year after everyone is out of the pandemic. But I like the push. I love that there's a standalone bill, and I adore that someone has put pen to paper. This is not the problems creator. This is actually someone who has really put the effort in, and God bless her for putting the effort in to make it a bill. But how will the president's fourth stimulus bill being introduced next week in draft form, not ready to vote upon, but in draft form, how will it be paid for? Oh boy, here we go again. Here we go again. That question was asked of your press secretary yesterday. How are you going to pay for the fourth stimulus? Are you going to raise taxes? Here again, does this sound like a reoccurring message on this channel? The video that you're about to see from the White House on YouTube has 200 likes and 850 down likes. It has 4 times the amount of down likes than likes. What's going on? Drop in the comments what you think is going on. But first, you may want to hear what her response is to the question. Are you going to raise taxes?
It's a challenge. It's something he is briefed on regularly, and is pushing his team to take more rapid action. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Jen. The president has said he wants bipartisan support, I think, for infrastructure package as well. Mm-hmm. Is that possible when Republicans are pretty adamant they don't want tax increases? In other words, how can you achieve bipartisan support for infrastructure if Republicans are drawing a hard line on taxes?
Well, first I would say, Peter, that I don't think most Republicans think that the United States, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, should be 13th in the world as it relates to infrastructure. Roads that are broken down, infrastructure that isn't working, a lack of access to broadband, that's not a Democratic issue. And the president is going to continue to make that case. Now, we don't know what the votes will be. We haven't proposed a package yet. And certainly what it will be tied to and the pay-fors will be a part of that discussion. But he certainly believes there's been a history of support for investing in infrastructure. He has had bipartisan meetings in the White House. He's worked with Democrats and Republicans on getting legislation, getting steps taken in the past. And he's hopeful that there's an agreement on that moving forward. Go ahead, Anita.
And that was her comment. A series of interesting twists there. First, she is absolutely correct that infrastructure is a bipartisan issue. Republicans and Democrats both love infrastructure. Number 2, she is incorrect in saying that the president has worked for bipartisan support since becoming president. He hasn't. She's referring to his time in the Senate, which was 15 years ago, when he even admits the situation of partisanship was very different. Number 3, she completely does not answer the question of whether Republicans will support the bill if there's raised taxes. Here's news to Earth to Mars. Democrats have already indicated to the president they will not support the bill if, 1, it does not pay for itself, which is different than even raising taxes, meaning the bill has to pay for itself, like issuing government bonds and things like that. And then there's other Democrats, not even Republicans, Democrats saying, we're not going to do this bill unless you get Republicans to support it. And finally, there are Democrats who will not support the bill, who have actually said in broadcast news, those reasons I've already delineated, and or they're not going to support raising inheritance taxes, which is a middle class tax implication, or capital gains tax, or similar taxes, including the corporate tax. Understand, let me make something very clear to you. Corporate tax applies to my Uber and Lyft drivers if you declare, or any of my small business owners who declare things on an LLC tax return. If you have an LLC tax return and you only make $10,000 a year, the president seeks to raise that corporate tax. That implicates people far more than just what she refers to as the upper echelons. It does implicate the middle class working people. Second, inheritance tax. People die. People die in all different walks of life. And when they die, you have to pay inheritance tax. That is something that impacts all Americans. So the president will have a long way to walk to figure out how to get this fourth stimulus package passed. Understand, there's the Democrats that want reoccurring stimulus checks. Then there will be the standalone bills, like the one which you've seen this on this channel today. The standalone bill that will provide $2,000 for 1 month and then $1,000 every other month. The more talk we have about these checks, the better news we are. Also, Dr. Walensky and Dr. Fauci spoke yesterday about the growing strain of the virus. But let me cut back to third stimulus and your unpaid stimulus check. Here's what to know is that ultimately, if you go to that irs.gov tool and it shows a date, and that date has passed and you've not gotten the stimulus check, actually be in a positive mindset. Why? Because it says that they know they got to send you a check, they have the amount right, and that for some reason they didn't get it to you. This is actually the best scenario among people who have not gotten a check, when there's a date but it hasn't been updated. If it hasn't been updated, meaning you haven't got to the check, continue to watch the spot in which it's supposed to land. It may be late 1, 2, 3 days. We're now starting to see that. But if it still doesn't come, at the same time, watch the tool, because the tool may update itself, which I think it has already started to. And you then may see the new date in which it's going to land. Second, watch your bank's deposit information. And what I want you to understand is that a series of banks have had pre-recorded messages that are 2 weeks old. The banks have had a series of pre-recorded messages that have been sitting there for 2 weeks old. And what's important to understand is that if those messages are there, that you should disregard them. It's not really at issue what's happening. Stimulus is coming. And what I want you to know is stay positive and stay focused. Meantime, let's watch that new message from Dr. Fauci about the growing concerns about the new strain of the virus.
You know, our percent of those of the variants is a little bit lagging behind our data, because it takes a while to do the sequences and to sequence the variants and do that population-based analysis. But yes, we're worried about the increase.
Yeah, the issue is the dynamics of the increase are telling us that it was going to continue to be a greater proportion, because if you look from week to week, 117 becomes more of a percentage. And as the percentage goes up, that's a reflection that it has the capability to become dominant.
Josh, on your first question about the manufacturing.
And among the concerns is that growing strain of B117. Elsewhere in news today, Amazon announced that it has prepared to send out a COVID-19 test, which you can do at home. It has gotten FDA authorization through a subsidiary called SDS Lab Holdings. That could be landing in the next few weeks. Elsewhere, Crypto Miami, yes, Miami has now set in place that a American Airlines arena for the Miami Heat will be renamed to a business that is a crypto business. The push for crypto across the land continues to grow, and it's absolutely hitting in Miami. With that, thank you for joining me on a big evening of Evenings LA. There's so much happening across the board, and I'm excited you're here. If you've not said hi, say hi. I'm in the live chat. Meantime, I'll also be in the live chat at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as Hazard Pay heats up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you like this video and stay focused, stay positive, and stay informed. And stay with me and along with Lalate.